So indeed, my battery did die, but it is now Sunday morning. I tried to record yesterday evening and then it just got too dark, so I decided to wait till the battery charged, and it is now a lovely overcast spring morning, but I'm okay with that. So I have recorded a read-along video where I'm just sitting down reading one of my books. I will mention which book that is, and I'm just going to go through a pile of books that I have here that I'm actually reading right now. I've been working through I don't really do a TBR. I tend to just read what I'm in the mood for, so I don't like doing a TBR, and then quite often I just don't. I don't read the books that I've selected because I just change my mind. I read the first chapter and I think, nah, I'm not doing that today, or I'm not in the mood for that this month, so I just change things as I go up. I just change things as I go on. Anyway, I've got my cup of coffee. It's super hot. It's just started to rain, but it's so nice and pleasant outside, and I can hear the birds singing. There's a bit of background noise, but that's okay. People are going about their own business as they do. So I'm just going to go and talk about the books that I'm currently reading, or some of the books that I've already read for March, and then I will run a little video of me reading, and you can read with me if you like, and that will be pretty much the end. So yeah, without further ado, let's continue on. And my first book is by Charlie Mackenzie, and it's The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse. And I got this and I just sat down and read it within a very short space of time. My daughter read it and she was having a bit of a down time with her mood, so I decided that she needed a bit of a pick me up, so I asked her to read it, and she really loved it, and it really brought her mood up and lifted her spirits, because you know, when you're homeschooling, it's not a lot of fun. You don't get a lot of social face-to-face contact, particularly with lockdown or with the coronavirus and not being able to mix with your friends. So yeah, so this is a great uplifting book, and absolutely adore the illustrations. I particularly like Mole, because Mole loves cake, and don't we all? So yeah, it's a beautiful book. I absolutely love some of the covers. I'd love to get some of his prints actually. So yeah, really uplifting book. There shouldn't be anybody out there who doesn't like this book. I'd be surprised. Dear Reader by Cathy Rentzenbrink, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Devoured this one. I won't give a review just yet on this, but let's just say this is a fabulous book, and it's a great book for people who love to read, and for those who want to start reading. I think this covers everything. All Creatures Great and Small by James Herriot, and I think I got this about a month or so ago. I'm just chipping at it a little bit at a time, so I'm not planning on finishing this anytime soon. I'm just dipping in and out of it when I feel in the mood. Some of his stories are so funny. I'm just weeping in tears. The last chapter that I read, he was explaining what was going on, and I thought, oh, I know what's going to happen here, and then the ending is just, even though you know it's predictable, his humour and the way he writes it, and it's really dry humour. It's just so funny. I was in tears laughing at some of these stories, and his writing is just awesome. I wish I could write in a humorous way like that, because it's just brilliant. I will get more of his books at some point, but right now I'm just going to try and read All Creatures Great and Small, and I've been watching the show as well, but the book is so superior. So yeah, you should read these. It's hilariously funny. If you need a good mood fun read, it's great. Okay, hopefully I'm in focus. It's hard to tell sometimes, isn't it? Okay, so I've got a couple more books, and this one, I love this. This has got this foil cover. I don't know if you can see this, but anyway, it's a paperback. It is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I hope I pronounced that correct. I'm not very good with my Japanese names. And it says at the back of this, it says, "Are you listening?" Kazu continued. "When you return to the past, you must drink the entire cup before the coffee gets cold." I don't actually like coffee that much. Kazu opened her eyes wider and brought her face an inch or so from the tip of Fumiko's nose. "This is the one rule you have to absolutely obey," she said in a low voice. I've been reading it and I've been chipping at this one. It's such a beautifully written story, and yeah, I don't want to tell you any more at this point. I will review it. I'm just about towards the end of this book, and it's just a beautiful book. It's just, the stories are just wonderfully written. It's smooth, it's soft, and there's a lot of emotion in there as well. Great. Business as Usual, and that's by Anne Stafford and Jane Oliver, and this is basically a story about a woman who decides that she's going off to work in a shop in London after she's just finished university. I think it's based in the 30s, and she works in this shop, and it's a thinly disguised Selfridges store, basically. But it's such an easy read. It's such a wonderful book. It took me quite a while to get this book. I don't know why it was. I guess it's quite popular right now. I know some booktubers have been talking about it. But yeah, this is such a fun read, and I just needed these uplifting books right now. I just can't be reading anything intense. So this was great. And this one I ordered only a few days ago. It came quite quickly through the post, so I got it yesterday, and I've just read the first couple of chapters. And it's The Soul Path by Raynor Winn. And I've seen her interviewed. I wanted to know a bit more about the book before I bought it, and it's a heart-wrenching, heartbreaking story that shows a positive light. From going from having this wonderful home, your children have just gone off to university, and things should be getting easier, and it turns out she's had a 3-year battle with an old problem. I won't go into that yet. And just everything comes tumbling down around her and her husband Moth, and they have to basically find a way through it, and they go and do the coastal path, I believe. They do a 630-mile southwest coast path from Somerset to Dorset via Devon and Cornwall. So it's a memoir, an inspirational story, I hope it's a feel-good story. I know this doesn't necessarily have a happy ending. I don't think it has a terrible ending either. I just think it's one of those where you are going through a terrible time, and then you have to find a way through it. And one of the ways that they find themselves getting through this upheaval and devastation that they're having to work through is by walking 630 miles with a backpack, camping every single day, and familiarising themselves with the outdoors. So yeah, like I said, only just started this one. It had me in tears. So that's those are the books that I'm currently reading in March, and that I have read or starting to read. And now I'm going to cue over to the sit down and read with me, and I hope you enjoy. Just chill, relax. It's not a particularly long one, but it is a beautiful day when I recorded it, so enjoy. you.